Kawasaki recently purchased 49.9% of Bimota. If you guys don't know who Bimota is, they are a small motorcycle company founded in Italy back in 1973. They're known for making quirky motorcycles with very strange designs. Most notably, they don't use front forks, but instead they use a hub center steering unit. The idea of hub center steering is that it separates the suspension from the brakes, and what I mean by that is there's no brake dive. When you brake hard on a conventional motorcycle, the forks will dip down, which will compromise your fork's handling abilities and sorta lock you into just braking until you let up on the brakes. Whereas hub center steering will not dive when you brake. Also, trail braking is possible due to this setup since the suspension isn't connected to the brakes. So when you hit the brakes in a corner, it doesn't unsettle the suspension the same way it would with a conventional fork setup. There are plenty of disadvantages to go with this setup though, mainly weight, complexity, and cost. Also, many riders reported that the front end feeling while cornering is slightly numb when compared to traditional forks. Anyway, Bimota just announced that they are releasing a new motorcycle known to us as the Bimota Tessie H2. Yup, I know what you're thinking, and you're right. This Bimota is based off of the Kawasaki Ninja H2. Same engine, same mirrors, similar bodywork, same exhaust, same lights, many similarities between the two, but also very different. First off, let's address the elephant in the room, the hub center steering. This is practically a Bimota trademark at this point, so it doesn't surprise me that they did it. I know some people may not like it. I love it though, simply for the fact that it's different and unique. I'm not saying it's the best performance choice to make, but with that engine and modern day suspension and tires, you know that this bike will handle just fine. I like oddities that make bikes different and interesting and set them apart from other bikes, so I really do like this. The front suspension isn't the only interesting piece, however. For instance, the rear has two semi-active Öhlins shocks which are braced underneath the seat, which is something you do not see very often. Bimota was also able to hide the brake calipers underneath the front fender thanks to the hub center steering setup. There's not a ton of information on this bike yet, however it's been reported to have the same specifications as the latest Ninja H2, so we can expect anywhere between 200 and 250 horsepower. I realize that's a large gap, but the H2 from the factory is limited to 200 horsepower, and only after a flash tune people start reporting of getting 250 or higher horsepower. So depending on how Bimota decides to tune the bike, it could be as low as 200 and as high as 250 or maybe even a little bit more. Oh, and you can probably expect the curb weight to be around 570 to 600-ish pounds. The only thing we really have is what we can observe. There's so much H2 in this bike, like I said earlier, same engine, exhaust, mirrors, lights, and gauges. However, I did notice some differences. For instance, no single-sided swing arm. Not exactly sure why. I thought they would definitely put one on there, but there isn't one. Also, there's tons of carbon fiber. Seriously, Bimota did not hesitate to make everything they could carbon fiber. And of course, you have carbon fiber winglets and different bodywork from the Ninja H2. And speaking of the bodywork, you guys can judge for yourselves. I don't think this is a good-looking bike, but I'm not ready to call it ugly. But it's just not smooth, flowing design like we're used to. But at the same time, it looks sort of cool. Bimota never was known for making gorgeous bikes though, but it did make cool bikes. It's always been a cool bike manufacturer, and I think they accomplished that with this bike as well. I mean, this isn't your average bike. You look at this and you know there's something special here. Tons of conversation starter pieces all over this bike. Seriously, just pick an angle. Obviously the non-traditional hub center steering, but also the massive winglets and odd looking bodywork just throughout. It's just a very weird bike. I bet you this is a bike you will see in museums 30 years from now and people would talk about just how crazy it was. I like it for the simple fact that it's just odd. It's something you will never see again and you never saw before, and it's cool, it's unique, it's different. Anyway, I guess that's it. I'm excited to see all these new cool bikes coming out. I feel like in the last 10 years or so there was a slump in terms of motorcycle development, and finally we appear to be out. New bikes, new designs, and new limits are being reached every single day, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for all of us.